When it comes to obesity and metabolism, this is going to be the disease that is going to take over this country, but not only the United States, but the world. It's because of the foods we eat, the type of calories we consume. We live in a society that is under-exercised, and if we don't get a handle on how to be healthy, we're going to have a crisis that is emerging right now.
We know that it's not just a lack of motivation to eat less. We know that it's not just a result of being in an environment that encourages being sedentary. We know that it's not just genetics. It has to do with hunger signals, satiety signals, and there's a lot of neuroendocrine parts of this that are still being discovered.
The obesity and diabetes epidemic really is an endocrine problem. It is a problem that is emerging through receptors of the steroid receptor superfamily. It's a mixture of fats and sugars that are percolating in our body. But as we now know from the newer studies, sugar is really the product of altered fat metabolism. And so if you are obese, there's an instruction for the muscle to reject sugar and use fat. We need to not only understand the link between sugar and fat, which is important, but how to reprogram it.
Understanding how fat and sugar kind of play a role in all of this and how they interact to wreak havoc on our metabolism is super important. And I think that understanding kind of the molecular and cellular mechanisms for obesity and weight regulation are going to help with developing kind of new strategies.
We can now develop a new class of drugs based on the genomic principles. These are gene-targeting drugs. And by targeting genes, we have a new way to reprogram the body. And the future is really in our hands right now. We have all the tools to recraft and rethink about disease, to create the next generation of drugs, which I think is going to be very important, and a new generation of understanding that will merge fields that used to be silos: thyroid hormone biology, vitamin A biology, vitamin D biology, insulin and diabetes, into a more global understanding of how the body works.
That's so true, because we can't look at each one in isolation, so we have to look at how they all interact together. I think we're at the frontier right now in endocrine research, and so to be able to be part of that with the tools that we have is incredibly exciting and impacts lots of lives.
I really think it's a lot about the patient, and by looking at the bigger picture of the way in which the body works, we will have the keys and the tools to unlock new types of drugs, new types of therapies, new ways to think about obesity and diabetes, and potentially come up with a prescription for health. And I think that the Endocrine Society and endocrinology in general is going to make a huge contribution to this area.